Hi kids. Today we're making something very special, something I only cook on holidays or people's birthdays. This is prime rib and it is love on a plate. What this is the ribeye steak before it is cut up. So it's a nice, lovely chunk of meat with a nice fat cap on it, which will protect it while it's cooking at a very high temperature. See the strings right here? That's how you know that there is a bone on the bottom. You can't see it in the package. I like to get them with the bone in because that's wonderful to cook up some ribs later, and it has a bit more flavor. Also, the bone protects the underside of the meat while it's cooking. This recipe is actually quite simple. You will need a calculator. Yes, math is good for you. You need it for cooking. And as I said, I cook this on holidays and birthdays. I'm cooking this for my husband's birthday. You can also just cook it on a Tuesday because we need to celebrate life more, don't we? Just treat yourself to this. You'll probably need 2 sticks of butter. See where we're going with this? It's going to get better and better. Very simple, bold flavor profile. Hence, rosemary, sage. I showed you that in another video. These will go in the spice grinder. Oh, I'm getting so low on my pepper. I like fresh pepper. And we're hanging out with the big boys here with the sea salt. We need some salt with some texture, with some grit. Because, well, you just do. Because you're cooking this huge piece of meat and a little table salt won't do. Okay, step 1. And you're just going to have to trust me. I learned this from a cooking show. I'm not sure which one now. This meat needs to get to room temperature. And it is suggested that you take it out of the fridge and let it sit for about 5 to 6 hours to come up to room temperature, or it won't work. So we're going to trust them. I want to start this meat, but it's not time yet. Okay, let's do our math. We need the pounds. 4.58. Okay, take that times 5 minutes. There's not enough light in here. I'll be back. Okay, 4.58 times 5 minutes. Okay, 22.9. We'll round up. This will need to cook for 23 minutes at 500 degrees. First, let's wait the 6 hours and then slather this thing in butter. Spice, spice, baby. You just fill that up with all the goodness of rosemary and sage and have some soft butter. Don't melt this. You just have to leave it out room temperature a couple hours. Butter. Resist the urge to eat this. Probably one of these spatulas will work best. And see, I've mixed all the spices right in. And here's our beautiful piece of meat. Let's first give that a generous coating of salt directly on the meat and then add our butter. See how we're doing that? It's like frosting a cake, except better. And by the way, again, we're using sea salt, and we salted it down first, and just keep going until that's all slathered. Okay, it's 500 degrees. You're just gonna have to trust me on this. Do your math and round up 1 minute. Let's put this baby in the oven. Just getting one more peek at all that butter. Yummy. Hear that? My time is finished. So now we set the timer for 2 hours. We turn this off and let it go for 2 hours. I know I'm a one-take wonder, but this is so important I needed to edit the video. You must let the roast sit in there for 2 hours. Do not open the door. Do not walk in the kitchen. Do not even walk past the oven. You leave that alone. However long you set that timer for 500 degrees, once that time's done, you hit the stop and it will sit and rest in there for 2 hours. And then it will look fabulous. Coming up. There, after 2 hours, there's a nice crust on this. And we're going to save these drippings to make a sauce. This is lovely stuff. First thing we want to do is get this to a board. I have a board right here. We're going to thin slice with a machete. Okay, this is an electric knife. We're going to thin cut. We're going to put on a platter, and next I'll show you how to make a sauce. Then we'll put it back in the oven on warm to keep it nice and warm until dinner is served. Can't wait. Okay, we removed the string. Remember there was a string here? Just cut it with a sharp knife. And the bones at the bottom, it's already partially cut. That's why the string was there. So then just slice it down the rest of the way. And that you can put back to cook later. Okay. All right, next put it back up this way, and you must slice it like this, okay? So that's the way we're going to cut it, just like the ribeye steaks. Beautiful. So now we'll get that plated up. Okay, see all these num-nums in the pan? We're going to transfer that over to a pan. Whoa, I can't see him pour this. We'll add some flour and make a nice little sauce. There we go. Got it? Okay, thanks. Add about 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to stir this up. And then we have some beef broth to add. Okay, we got this all sudsy and bubbly now. And slowly add some nice beef broth to this. It's going to sizzle. And after it's just boiled a little, we will be done. This isn't meant to be a very thick gravy. It's just to give it some, I don't know, some more flavor. There, see, it's nice and thin, and we're done, kids. Okay, see that? Nice and beautiful, rich. It's called au jus. That's French. It means sauce. Okay, thank you. Okay, I added even more broth because it's not supposed to be a gravy. It's just supposed to be loosey-goosey like that. That looks good. Smells good too. Wish you could smell this. These go in the oven until we're ready. You can garnish with a little parsley when they're done. That's what you call love on a plate. Enjoy. Thanks for watching Cooking with Mrs. B.